Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Sully Squad. As you can see, I don't know. It's not inside the octagon. It's the Sully Squad. I don't know why that's up there, but hey, you know what? Put it this way: if the Sixers didn't get that first round pick, I think all of us would have been ready to be fighting somebody yesterday. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'd have been high. In fact, I think
we moved up.
Yeah, a lot of Sixers fans would have been ready to go to Daryl Morey's house and have a little octagon. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, the NBA already knew who they wanted, fucking giving the Mavs the first pick. So
pretty much. So yeah. So anyway, we're gonna get in a little draft lottery. The Mavericks captured the flag. I think most NBA fans think that was think that was a little wink. Trade Luka and you get flag. You know what I mean?
And the Lakers get Luka, and everybody's happy.
Yeah, well, I'm not happy.
Yeah, they don't care about us.
What's that?
They don't care about Sixers fans.
No, but you know what, though? Hey, at least we got our picks. So we're going to get we're going to get into the lottery. Of course, the other big news was that the NFL schedule comes out officially tomorrow, but all kinds of leaks. I know we open up with the Dallas Cowboys September 4th, Thursday night, so we'll have to check that out. Mm-hmm. So we'll get into that, and then some NBA playoffs. So got a lot to get into. We took the week off last week, and so we're back with a vengeance tonight. I got my usual cast. I got my man Sean Kilrain right next to me. What's up, Sean? How you doing?
What's up, man? What's up, fellas? Pretty good.
Yeah, got my man right next to Sean. I got my man Jeff. What's up, Jeff? How you doing, man?
All good. Just waiting for football to start.
pretty much. And then right next to Jeff, I got my man Diego the Hammer Bianchi. What's up, bro?
What's up, guys? How you doing? Jeff, anyone ever tell you look like Tom Segura?
Who?
You look like Tom Segura.
I don't know who that
is. Any of you know who he is?
Yeah. No, who's Tom Segura?
He's a comedian. You look like him. Look it up after the show.
If he's good, I'll stand in for him and make some bucks.
Yeah, he is really good.
There we go.
He's got a huge podcast too. So,
all right, I'll just
Bears 1 cup or something.
Start telling people that.
Yeah. Can you imagine? It's like quick, come up with some jokes. You know what I mean? We need some entertainment.
I'm like Matt Rife. You ever know who he is?
Yeah.
What's that?
I'm like him. I play off of people, and I'll bust on anybody. I call myself the equal opportunity offender. I don't care what race, nationality, you name it, I'll offend you. It doesn't matter because it's only in jokes.
Yeah.
I don't mean anything personal by it, but I don't care who you are. I'll bust your gut.
Bulls.
Hey, that's great, man. That's great. I'll take it. So got a couple comments here. Michael Papernick Jr. says, well, I'm 30 to 70 on trusting Morey picking. Eddie Prather says Dallas, Spurs, and the Sixers all won last night. Yeah, did you guys see that the odds for that being the exact 3 was like less than 1%?
Yep. And it was 1.8 for Dallas to get the number 1 pick. And go figure. Things that make you go,
It's crazy. 3 big winners.
When the 3 big losers are what? Utah,
Washington, and Utah, Washington, and
Chicago.
Yeah, well. You want to talk about getting fucked. Chicago and Dallas had the same record. They had a coin toss to see who would pick, and Dallas, I guess, won the coin toss or whatever it was, and so if Chicago won the coin toss, they would
get flagged.
Yeah, they would have got them.
Okay.
I don't know about that. I think this is completely set up exactly.
It is.
I text Jonathan and said, Jonathan, Dallas is going to be number 1. He's like, no way, Dad. Watch. And there it
Well,
is.
I sent something to Joey this morning. When LeBron left Cleveland in 2010, what happened? One pick.
Mhm.
Luca and Anthony Davis, all that stuff. I mean, it's just rigged. I miss the ping pong balls. Screw that envelope.
I know. I
Give me
agree.
the ping pongs.
I agree. Even though those were weighted down, and they remember, was it Minnesota or something that won like 3 years in a row?
Something like that. Yeah.
The Devils won a couple years in a row in hockey. Remember?
Yes. Yep.
But yeah, let's get to this pick. Let's talk about this pick. What do you guys think?
Ace.
Yeah,
Ace Bailey.
Take Ace.
Well, how about this? How about this question right here? We got a couple. Eddie Prather says, "Do the Sixers keep the pick or try to trade for Giannis?" And then,
no thanks.
Mike Papernick says,
If the direction of the team is to go with Maxey, Paul George, and Embiid, and you still think that's they're going to win a championship with that, they're probably going to try to trade this pick.
They got to get rid of George. Embiid is going to probably stay around and just be there. And if he can play, he can play. But if not, they can't count on him to be number one. Can he play here, knowing that he's probably in a way not going to be number one?
I'd be trying to somehow get Giannis. Any means, however I can get him. You know.
But you got to get he's not our future. That's the problem. You're going to get rid of too many.
Whatever.
Give Ace a year here. You got McClain.
I think a 50% Embiid, Giannis, and Maxey with Jared McCain.
You got to keep Maxey here with Ace and McClain coming back.
Huh?
You got McClain coming back, right?
Yeah, McCain.
You got to keep Maxey. You can't get rid of Maxey.
You keep Maxey, so try to move George. That'll match the money. Attach a couple picks. Get Giannis, and then even if Embiid's not healthy, you're still competing. You still win enough games to with Maxey and Giannis to probably be a 3-4 seed.
No, I'm good. Let's go Ace.
See, I feel.
Yeah.
See,
I'm not. I mean, have you guys watched Ace Bailey? He's not a good dribbler. He's not a good defender. He's not a play creator. He's literally just he's a good. He can make a shot. That's it.
Oh.
I mean, I think the better option might even be to do Trey Johnson from Texas. Gives you a little more in them other areas, and still he averaged 20 on a better team that made the tournament. Rutgers had 2 top 3 picks. They didn't even have a winning record.
What about the kid?
It reminds me of Ben Simmons with like LSU. You know, all them numbers. His team sucked.
Well, whoever we picked anyway, or do pick, it's going to hurt the first year anyway. Remember the last couple of years, first pick, boom, Simmons out. Next,
and Rutgers had this dude Ace Bailey marked up at 6'10". He marked at the NBA draft combine 6'7". So like, and he's getting them shots off in college. You ain't getting the same shots off in the NBA.
Yeah, his lack of dribbling concerns me, and also, like you said, the fact they couldn't make the tournament is very concerning. So here's a thought. Like the thing is though, is like getting the Greek Freak. Like I would think, like for instance, San Antonio, I think has a great shot at getting the Greek Freak, because if you're look at San Antonio right now. If you're San Antonio, they don't really necessarily need the kid Harper, so they could offer the second pick plus but
I don't know if Giannis and Wemby work. I think Giannis works here because Embiid's never healthy.
I don't know. I feel like but Wemby can like shoot. He can handle the ball. I feel like he's a unicorn. He can make it work anywhere. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true. That's true.
See, the only thing. If I knew Embiid would play somewhat, I would be right with you with getting Giannis. But my only concern is that we're going to want, like say hypothetically we do get Giannis and we trade all of our assets for Giannis, right? And then Embiid's hurt all the time anyway. We're not going to win shit. And then all of a sudden, then we're stuck. We have like no picks or nothing. Like, I'd almost rather just like. Maybe trade, like if say you don't love Ace Bailey, maybe you can move down a couple spots, acquire a couple future picks, and then you take a guy like the guy Trey.
But the thing in the NBA, I mean, I don't think you're either taking that pick there, you're not going to trade down. It's not like football because there's not enough good players behind you. You know?
Well, if
you're going to have to find a trade for maybe a player that's like a really solid player right now. That can get you like 12 and 8 a night for that pick.
No, I'm talking about, you mentioned the guy Trey Johnson. So say Trey Johnson's supposed to say he's going 4th or 5th. I'm talking about moving down a spot or 2.
Yeah, but I think that at that point, Sixers just take him with the 3 pick. What are you going to acquire? A 2nd round pick?
No, I'm saying, what if? No, you could probably get a future first. Look at what we did when we traded up to get Markelle Fultz. We traded Sacramento's pick.
Yeah, look what we did to get Markelle Fultz.
You know what I'm saying? So say you're sitting there at 3. Say the 5th spot, like Washington or somebody really likes Ace Bailey. Maybe you acquire a future 1st round asset from them, and then it gives you more stuff in the cupboard. And then you go with Trey Johnson.
Yeah, I guess.
The worst part about
I think the Sixers need a player that can contribute.
I'm from
Ace Bailey's not contributing day one to a playoff team.
Jeff from Roxborough.
No.
What's this?
It says, do any of you live in Roxborough?
No.
No.
I grew up in Roxborough. Been there for 21 years. Have you tried Rosie's Water Ice? It started in Feltonville. No.
In Roxborough, yeah. That's Water Ice. I've never heard of it. It sounds good, though.
I used to get Water Ice up on, it's going to sound horrible, but during the time it was actually happening, it was called AIDS Water Ice on Ridge Avenue in Roxborough.
That's horrible.
Was the best water ice around there. It used to kick
it's like, come and get some AIDS. You know what I mean?
That was the joke.
On that note, I'll pass.
The lady her name is Pat Aid, and she had a chance to branch out California, all kinds of places, but she would make it by herself in the basement in the house behind. And a lot of friends that I used to hang with all used to work for her in the front. And she said no. She could have made it big. And who swooped in? Rita's.
Rita's was my
off the map.
Okay,
was my neighbor down the street.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Tumalo. Yeah.
He can't play the power forward position. Not to have him listed at 6'7".
Nah. Although nowadays it's a lot of times it's positionless basketball. But yeah, this kid's skinny as shit.
He's skinny. I don't know. He can't really dribble. I feel like in the NBA you got to be able to dribble.
Yeah. But do you think he? I mean, he can shoot a little bit though. So do you think he could learn how to dribble in a few years? But in the meantime,
I feel he can learn in a few years. I just don't think this is the direction this Sixers organization is looking to go. They're going to put their money on Embiid. That he's going to get healthy enough to play. They're going to put their money that Paul George works hard to be in really good shape in the summer, and they're going to put their money that Tyrese Maxey takes a Damian Lillard type step. So if that's the direction you're going to go, this pick doesn't help you. 3 years down the line, I think it's going to be traded for a player that can come in and contribute right now.
Yes,
that's already been in the league.
Yeah,
I agree. I don't know if I agree, but Daryl Morey was on the radio saying that they're still going with that plan.
I traded for Zion Williamson.
Yeah. Oh, he's actually lost some weight finally.
Yeah.
Zion looked great at the end of the year.
But if he comes to Philly,
Zion looked great at the end of the year last year.
He'd be right back to the way he was before.
Yeah, he's a tank.
Give me a LaMelo Ball.
I've soured on Daryl Morey so much that it's really hard for me to. I'm not going to say root for the Sixers. They're my home team. I've loved them for since I remember basketball as a kid. But I've just soured on Morey so much, and even Elton Brand, that little group there, and Harris. Harris is more worried about his damn Redskins than he is anything else. And, well, should be the Redskins, but the Commodores, as Hugh Douglas says.
Yeah, I read something on like a Facebook page earlier that said Embiid, like inside Embiid's camp, they're saying he wants to be traded to the Pacers.
Really?
Yeah.
I think he likes Philly.
That he's tired of the process. He's tired of his team or whatever. Something like that. Like people, that's what I read. It could be fake, but you never know what people are talking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, hey, Embiid never stays healthy. If say the Pacers lose to the Knicks, if the Pacers wanted to make that move, I would take a pick or two and Miles Turner. And
me too. Give me Miles Turner and Obi Toppin on a pick, and I'll give you Embiid.
Yeah, and
Halliburton. Give me Halliburton.
Nah, they're not going to give us
They wouldn't
Halliburton.
do
That the whole point is to bring him beat the team up with
I know.
Halliburton
I'm just playing.
and Pascal Siakam.
Today,
That's the guy we
yeah,
should have tried to
possibly
get
2
when he
years
was
ago, they could've.
available. We should have tried to get Pascal Siakam.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I know.
Yeah. Here's a question. So you mentioned Zion.
I was joking, but go
All right.
ahead.
No. Okay, yeah, but there's talk that New Orleans might move off of him. So here's a question. Would you do it? I don't know if you could, but would you trade number 3 Paul George and a future pick or 2 to get Zion and go for?
I probably would, just because the upside of Zion is so much more than Paul George. But like that's still that I don't know.
Zion's a smaller Embiid.
Give me Giannis,
to be hurt,
to me, that's who I would. If I'm looking to trade, and I'm looking for a star, I'm looking to try to get Paul George out of here and bring in Giannis.
Yeah, did you guys see Jameer Nelson got promoted to assistant GM?
No.
Somebody that knows basketball.
Eddie Prather says the Lakers are the team that is desperate to take Embiid.
Good.
Yeah, but I know, but fuck the Lakers though. They don't have anything to give up.
Yeah, they don't offer us enough. And fuck the Lakers.
When it comes down to injuries now with players, you got Zion who gets injured a lot. And obviously he doesn't want to be. He's not a crybaby injury like LeBron. As good as LeBron is, you can't take away how great he is, but he is a crybaby. And that picture with him laying on the floor with his hand over with that little peaky eye says it all right there. He is. But you got Zion always getting hurt. You got Embiid getting hurt, and it may not be his fault. He plays hard. He plays hard like Iverson did, but Iverson was slower, lower to the ground, and just didn't get hurt. You got somebody else like that in another league who was just probably a Hall of Famer first ballot, but his career is done. Mike Trout. Same situation. I wanted him for the Phillies for all these years. Now the Angels are starting to think, well, maybe we should move off this guy. He's just an injury waiting to happen. I mean, he's crushing home runs and doing everything again, and then boom, here goes the knee. I just wouldn't take anybody else. Like I say, Zion would be great here before if there was no injuries there, but there's injuries there.
I wouldn't take TJ McConnell.
I don't want him back. I don't want.
It just doesn't make sense because you have Tyrese Maxey and Jaron McCain backs him up. So what's TJ McConnell, your third point guard?
No, but all right. Say you need but if Embiid makes $60 million. Embiid makes $60 million a year, so maybe you'd have to take McConnell to make the money work. And then
I got you.
But I'll tell you what, I would do that. Obi Toppin, Turner, and TJ McConnell and 2 picks for Embiid. I would do that. I would do that, and then I would take Bailey or Trey Johnson. And then I would use the 2 picks I get back there and just use that to rebuild. Yeah, or
and you can still win enough games. See, the problem with that, Joe, is I feel like you're going to get players that are just going to get you enough wins to fuck you out of a good pick. But you're going to get players that are just going to be good enough to make the playoffs.
Yep. And that's what you don't want.
What if you made that move, though, and then you could go ahead and parlay Obi Toppin, like you could parlay like Paul George to make the money work, Obi Toppin, the 3rd pick this year
for Giannis,
and then a couple of those picks, and you get Giannis, and instead of Embiid, you got Giannis.
All right.
Then you
now we're talking because I'll take Giannis. And I think Embiid's more talented than Giannis, but I think Giannis wants to play. He has like that. I want to be great mentality. I need to play every game through injuries and shit like that.
Mike Papper Jr. says the Sixers haven't had a true backup point guard in many years.
Yeah, but that's going to be that should be McCain, right? He should be the second ball handler. You can't play him and Tyrese Maxey at the same time.
No.
I think they're going to try. I think that's the problem they're going to have because I think they may try to play them 2 together, but I don't think it's going to work. So to be honest, I feel like you almost have to trade either McCain or Maxey to go.
Trade? I just think you have to. Yeah, I don't know.
They're in a conundrum. They're like you said, they're middle of the road. Anything they do, and then they're going to get a bad pick, and it's just they're stuck.
They just didn't. The Sixers' problem for the last 5 or 6 years is just they didn't know how to build a team.
No,
They didn't know how to look at the fucking court and
Yep.
be like, this player fits with this guy, and this guy's gonna fit with Embiid, and they'll be able to play. Like they just had a bunch of retards running everything.
they have to listen to Howie Roseman's podcast and learn how to pick a team.
They don't have basketball minds. Plain and simple.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's no one like I don't
there's
know.
no professional like what you're saying, Diego. Like
We're not professionals,
like
dude. We sat here and we talked about so many players that can come to the Sixers that would have fit and could have made a difference that we see go other places and are making differences, and we're not pros. You know, we're not the front office. It's like they have a bunch of idiots running everything in there.
But they're also worried about the money, and we don't know what's going on behind the scenes with the owners and shit. Who likes who and who doesn't? That's the big problem.
Yeah, but then you went and got Paul George. Like everyone knew Paul George wasn't worth that.
No.
The Eagles were bugging and trying to trade up so they can get Jihad, and they ended up getting him anyway. But nobody wanted to do anything with Howie because they knew he had something up his sleeve.
Even going back to like getting Al Horford. Like Al Horford didn't fit. He didn't fit.
Yeah.
Tobias didn't fit playing
Yeah.
the three. Come on.
When he goes
Then the
to
one
another
guy
team,
that
they shine.
actually fit,
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, who fits on any team he goes to because he's that kind of player, you don't fucking re-sign. You get Tobias Harris. That's where everything went wrong.
Yep. Well, Simmons was a part of that.
Oh yeah, big time. Simmons and Tobias.
And
Even take out Ben Simmons though. You know, if you don't invest all that money in Tobias Harris, Jimmy Butler, Maxey, and Embiid could have won.
That might have worked for us. That was their breaking point right there. They lost it right there when they lost Butler.
Absolutely.
It was perfect.
Like, yeah, I want to win, but like at this point, trade Embiid, get a couple picks, give me Miles Turner, and I'll take the 13th pick. I'll take the 13th pick from them trades.
Well, yeah, because the problem is I have no faith that Embiid's ever going to come back. I mean, Daryl Morey even said if Embiid comes back, like he slipped up, I think.
Didn't I send you that thing on Messenger about how he's got to get another surgery on his meniscus?
You sent that. Yeah, I was reading that. Yeah.
Yeah, something with his hip. Like, dude, if that's the case,
Yeah, he's beat up. He's beat up.
Sixers dictated the Sixers. Your article had the Sixers dictated what doctors they wanted him to go to, and he had questions about it and wanted another staff to look at this. And the Sixers were like, "You're going to go this way," and he didn't want that. And now it's coming back because they're saying he's still having problems with it, and he feels like he was forced into doing that when they didn't let him look into the other option, which kind of summarizes the article you sent, which was very telling.
Yeah,
So
it is.
So maybe there is, and supposedly I was reading online that Embiid became kind of close with Halliburton with the Team USA, and Embiid's been texting Halliburton during the playoffs. So Diego, maybe there is a little bit of smoke to.
I also read Embiid was talking to Giannis at the All-Star break, and he was like, just come play with us.
Wait, what's this?
Embiid was talking to Giannis at the All-Star break, trying to tell him to come to play in Philly.
Yeah, but I don't. Like I said, I don't know how you make that trade. I mean, I don't know how you make that trade work. I mean, unless
How about like Paul George, Jared McCain,
I don't think Embiid has as much pull now with his injuries and his status that he had before when he was per se the king, if that makes any sense, the MVP player.
I mean, he still kind of got the Sixers by the balls with all that money.
He's damaged goods.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is he's getting paid so much money, so who's in control?
And why did we extend him? I mean, that was the stupidest thing in the world.
That to me was the worst thing that Morey could have did, knowing the fact that he's injury prone and all this other stuff. Like, we can go on, but it's just a shit show with how this organization's ran. Like Diego said, and we all said, there's no professionalism or basketball minds to dictate and say, you know what, we need this guy. This guy is going to be here for the future and the years to come. Just like with the Eagles, they're all molding together. People said, "Oh, Jalen can't play with this guy." Well, who's getting the last laugh? You know,
it's kind of the opposite. It's kind of the opposite of the Flyers, right? The Flyers went and brought in Danny Briere and a bunch of players that like. They know hockey. They know what they
which is
what
good.
Format,
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't work out, but doesn't work out. But at least as a fan, we see like, all right, Danny Briere knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, right.
You know, like he's played it, he's done it, like everything.
And you got Keith
Daryl
Jones there,
Morey
too.
he looks like a guy that never played a sport.
No.
He looks like a guy that just went to school, you know what I'm saying? Did so I don't know what he did, but that's what he looks like to me. So like I don't know. What do you know about putting a team together? About money?
Yeah. Money makes the world go around, but like you said, you need to have that mindset of knowing how to pick and choose and run a team.
I'm even past the point of blaming the players too. It's the organization's fault that we're here.
Yeah.
Like Joey said before, the process is long gone.
Oh yeah.
And that was their idea.
Yeah.
It was their idea.
That's why the league doesn't like the Sixers. The league doesn't like the Flyers because they did the Broad Street bully shit, and it's well known that the league has not liked the Flyers since then. They completely changed the way hockey was. They thought they put a blemish on it, but if anything, they helped hockey. Yeah. Well, the Sixers, since they did the process and they tanked it and made them look like NBA look like fools, they've got a black mark on them.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what like moving forward with this third pick? Like we said, do we trade it? Do we keep it? But all in all, like you said, it relies on Embiid, and it doesn't look good. It really doesn't. Even it's a shame when you have a young nucleus like McCain and Maxey. But like Diego said, do you stay or do you go? I mean, it's like playing roulette or craps.
Who was it? I totally forget the other guys.
Do we even trust him to take somebody at this? Like to even if they do decide to take this pick, they're not going to fuck it up.
Well, just like Joey can tell you, and Jeff, years to come, look, Sean Bradley, who had Mashburn, all this. Also, it really doesn't make the difference, like you said, whatever third pick they get, because is it going
Bradley was I never understood that. There were other picks that I thought, that weren't bad. Like, I mean, as much as Fultz sucked for us, he could shoot. He was supposed to be able to shoot. He didn't do anything.
Porter Williams.
You're right.
We can go on and on.
Right. Mike, Rookie of the Year, and he just didn't. But he just wasn't a player.
So you guys asked, Diego asked if we trust Daryl Morey, and then Mike Papernick Jr. right here has, he says to fire Morey, hire Bob Myers. I actually don't agree. I mean, I'm not a Daryl Morey guy as far as I think Daryl Morey screwed up. He screwed up with the money, screwed up paying Embiid and George. But the one thing that Daryl Morey has done well since he's come back here is he does draft well. So, like Diego was asking, like, do you trust him with the pick? I actually do. I actually do trust Daryl Morey with the pick. The only thing that I trust, I trust, to be honest with you, I don't trust Daryl Morey with anything but the pick.
Right.
Because I don't trust him with anything and the pick.
The pick, but everybody around.
But my point is though is that of course I'm very disenchanted with Daryl Morey, but he has drafted well. I mean,
he drafted Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain. I get that, but like at a point of the draft where like the players take, you know what I'm saying? When you got like the first 3 picks, we prove you can really mess that up.
Well,
a lot of teams have proved you can really mess that up.
Oh, sure.
Right, but my saying is I can't stand Daryl Morey, so I don't really like the fact that I'm defending him. I'm only saying
I know what you're saying now. He's got a good draft, like you said. He could draft well. Whether it's, I don't think it's directly him. I think it's obviously his draft team looking at the players, but he can't put the other players around. Is the problem that he has? He can't put a team together. He's like a fantasy football player in a way. He's a fantasy basketball player. Who do I think will do good? There you go.
If he's a fantasy football player, he can't make trades.
Yeah, the only sport that he played was pocketball. He's got no. He
play with himself.
He reaches in both sides. He's got a hole in there, and then the ref's a dick. You know what I'm saying? All right. So anyway, so I got on here. It says before we move on, it says who. So let's make a prediction who they're going to pick at 3. Sean, I think do you think they make a trade, or you think they take Ace Bailey?
I think they make a pick. It's going to be Michael, Carter, Iverson, Williams.
They can probably play better than half of them.
That guy is a generational talent, and he's going to be something. Now, I you know what? I'm going to roll the dice. Let's go Ace Bailey. I mean,
second,
we got to lose. We either shit the bed or we don't.
All right, Diego, what do you think they do?
I think they trade the pick. I think they try to bring a veteran in here that is a solid player to add a fourth guy to this.
Okay, now I could see that happening too. Now the only problem is that like they'd almost have to trade the pick and a player though.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Attach a player with the pick to try to bring somebody else in.
Yeah, but
like you said, Maxey and McCain might not work, right? Attach McCain in the first for a player who can come in and be that fourth guy. You know, a guy like on maybe someone similar to like a Mikal Bridges.
It just stings me to when you say that we had him and we traded him for a dude that's no longer in the NBA.
I know.
Tell you what's crazy, dude. Jason Tatum's Achilles exploded yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Oh, and that was dirty, Joe, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, I know, right?
That's crazy.
No, it's a shame, dude. Just seeing him grab that ankle, and I'm like, damn. I think
he was done.
Yeah.
You know what was sad too is that I think he had like 41 points.
42.
And 40.
He was on fire.
Yes, he
right.
was.
And if they win that game, that's like one of his signature moments.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now, go ahead.
No, just back to Diego's thing. Mikal Bridges, man, he played good.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Mike Papernick Jr. thinks they trade the pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
You?
I think they draft, but I think they move down a spot or two, acquire another asset. I think they take the kid Trey Johnson. I think they take him. I think as the draft process moves on, I think they'll see because he can really shoot and they'll
score. He can score.
That's what I'm saying. So I could see him being the pick, and maybe they acquire another asset, for the future, and and then we'll see what happens.
Also, got to wait for all these workouts to happen because it's a 2-player draft, and then everyone after that is really going to determine on that what guy they like the most when they come and pick the team.
Maybe we can poach Caitlin Clark to come here instead.
Yeah,
we're not going to
right?
The Serbian water boy. I heard he's got game.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, the draft.
Let's throw in Aaron Nola to the draft to trade.
Wait, what?
Aaron Nola needs, we're gonna trade. We're gonna give Aaron Nola in the trade also.
Oh,
so we'll throw him into the trade. So we'll jump into the Phillies, and Aaron Nola. It needs to be in the bullpen. He can't go more than 5 innings, and he is. I saw the greatest thing. You ever hear of a movie called Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs?
Yeah.
Well, they had Nola with a chance of meatballs, and it was great with him doing exactly what it is. And I don't want to hear, they don't score enough runs when he pitches and stuff. Yeah, we don't score enough runs early. We have lately, but we don't. But he goes, I think he's telegraphing his pitches somehow. He just doesn't have it this year. Doesn't look like himself.
Yeah. It's a long season, so let's hope he can get it together.
You got that right.
We paid him, so he ain't going anywhere.
No, that's the problem.
And he's not going to the bullpen either. He's going to be a starter, and they're going to have to live and die on that.
We're going to die on that, unfortunately.
Well, I'll tell you what, I like that. I like how Taiwan played in that role in the bullpen. That
was should be.
I think that's kind of brought up his morale. Keep him there.
Who's the last?
Phillies starting to play some good baseball again.
Who's the last? The Phillies had him too, and he got the saves record. So that'll give you a clue there. Who's the last reliever we had who was a starter and went to the bullpen and then just kicked ass?
Was it Brett Myers?
No.
Yeah. Well, Brett Myers did it though.
Yep, but who was he led the Phillies in saves?
Oh God. Was it Steve Bedrosian?
Nope. Paps. Papelbon. Red Sox.
I was going to say that.
He wasn't a good starter though, or
he was a starter for the Red Sox.
Yeah.
They threw him in the bullpen, and we got him, and he went crazy.
Got you.
And that's exactly where Taiwan should be. Because Taiwan's good for 2 or 3 innings. If you need him, he can throw in the spot start here and there, but he's perfect for a couple innings. Then he's done. He's just done.
That game said it. 7 strikeouts, right? Correct.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
All right, what do you do with Andrew Painter? Where's Andrew Painter fit into all this?
He's coming up.
Yeah.
I read something on Twitter. They're going to work more innings in on him to see how he fars, how he does. But hey,
you're not going to see
bring up Otto Kemp.
Yeah, that's a problem they have. Yeah, Otto Kemp's kind of in a Ryan Howard situation.
Yeah.
Remember Howard, and you had what's his face?
I know.
Tim Tomey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what do you do? You know, and it's okay. And
you
they
can't
did what they did.
What's he going to be in the minors for the rest of his career? Nah, bring his ass up, man.
Yeah.
What do you think of Fuji says to trade Suarez? I'm assuming maybe for a bullpen piece. I mean, Suarez looked good his last start out. I mean, I think you got to give him a few more starts to get his value up, and then you make a decision after that.
Yeah, so many starters.
Give him 2 or 3 starts, and then we can say, do we trade him? Does he stay or does he go?
All right,
I think he is the oddball out.
We have Wheeler. We have Suarez. We have what's his face?
Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez.
Luzardo.
Dude, what's it?
Luzardo.
That's it. Luzardo, number 2. Now who's number 3? Nola's not number 3.
He's not number 3, but he's our number 3.
Sanchez.
Like he's still our third guy we throw out there.
3. You're right. Sanchez should be 3. Then maybe Nola 4, and then Suarez 5 to get it. To get him his innings and stuff like that in, and like you said, look a lot better. Somebody goes down, then you throw in Walker when he needs to a spot start here and there. But I definitely think he should be a long bullpen guy. I think that's where his career is going to go to. As long as he doesn't have it in his head that he has to be a starter.
Nah, he should just roll with what he did that one night.
Yeah.
And to me, I think my confidence level would be up. I'm striking out the sides. I'm bringing my offense back out, and then I got to go back out, and I still do a solid ass job.
Sure.
But like you said, psyche in sports players, it can make it or break it, and you got to be like strong will. If not, weak, you're done.
Papelbon was on an interview. It was a while ago when he was on the Phillies, and they asked about that and about him on the Red Sox and starting. And he said he literally wanted to get traded from the Red Sox because he did not want to be in the bullpen. But once he got into the bullpen and he saw things were going, and he was actually being cheered and not jeered, and he had
your confidence level up.
That's exactly what he said. He said something just clicked inside of me, and he said, "Well, I'm going to go out and do this every single time." And look what he did. It lengthens his career, and it was a little psycho as it was in the head, but still, the guy could pitch. That's the big thing.
What do you think of this here? Mike Packard Jr. says, trade Bohm as Bohm is not Tomey and bring up Kemp. But I have a question on that though, because Dave Dombrowski was the GM in Boston back when they had Rafael Devers. Now, do you guys see what's going on with Devers? Where they asked him to play first base.
He said no.
I love it. I love how he came out. Nope.
Yeah, but so the point is that it seems like he's wearing out his welcome in Boston. He's got a huge contract. Is it possible the Phillies try to make a move for him? The only problem with him is he's left-handed, so you'd really be left-handed. But I'm wondering if that might be a possibility. If maybe the Phillies would consider moving him.
I would love it.
Huh?
I would love it because he's a hit machine.
I think they do. I think he would strive in this stadium.
Yep.
And Mr. I fucking hate this place would be gone.
And he can hit left-handers.
Fresh start.
He can hit left-handers.
For both players. Fresh start.
Yeah. I agree.
Sign me up.
I agree. For both players, that would be a win-win situation for both.
Yeah. Now he does, like Mike Papernick Jr. says right here, he does have 78 years on his huge contract. And even though he's had a great, he's been a really good hitter.
Yeah.
You do worry a little bit about the clubhouse chemistry because, is he a team guy? You know what I mean? Is that going to be a problem? He's also left-handed. So all of a sudden you got Schwarber, Harper, Stott, Kepler, Who the hell else am I thinking?
Giannis, Riamuto.
No. I'm talking about left-handed hitters. So you'd have let me think. Stott, Schwarber, Harper, Devers, Kepler. I mean, geez, shit. You would be really left-handed. That's the only thing.
Thing is, though, you've got Schwarber who can hit lefties. You've got Harper who can hit lefties. I mean,
right.
You've got that. Yes, you don't have a ton of right-handers, but you got. I mean, the one who can't hit lefties is Marsh.
Marsh can't hit anyone. I want something.
That's true.
Marsh and Bohm to the Boston.
Yeah, Marsh can't hit shit.
That would work. They would want something else, but that would work. And the length of the contract, you already got Turner and Harper here forever, so why not have another guy who? I mean, if you got 3 steady guys, and they better get their asses moving on signing Schwarber, or his contract's going up and up and up every home run he hits.
Yeah, but I mean, because that's what everybody's saying, and I agree with you. But do you think there's a possibility that maybe the reason they haven't officially re-signed Schwarber is because they don't want to have locker room problem? Because if, like, imagine they only signed Schwarber and they signed Schwarber now. Well, you got JT Realmuto and Suarez sitting in the same locker room.
They offered him $75,000 supposedly is what the leak is early, and he said no. They said it's up over 100 and something right now, and climbing. So
yeah. Well, I think the what do you call it? The discrepancy is probably the number of years, not necessarily per year.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like
Maybe.
If you're Schwarber on the open market, even though you're 32, he probably could get 4 years. And the Phillies probably want to give him 3.
Well, how old was Ortiz? Ortiz was a DH till how old was he? Was he almost 40?
Yeah, he was at least late 30s.
There you go.
Yeah, 38.
He can still hit. So
38.
He doesn't really rough up his body. If anything, he looks better this year than he's looked at, than I've ever seen him look.
Yeah, they said he took care of his body after year breaking down.
The Phillies are already. Don't you feel like we have a problem where we just have a bunch of guys that hit home runs? Like, what if if you don't win a World Series this year? What are you going to just keep on fielding the same exact players out there?
That's
year
the problem.
You're not going to try to maybe not sign Schwarber and use that money on 2 players that can help your lineup with players get on base.
Devers would be good here. Devers can get on. Devers can single, double, triple, and hit home runs. So you got to get Devers in here to get on base, because look at you got what's his face Schwarber leading the league in home runs, but he's way down in RBIs because they're always solo home runs. There's nobody ever on base for him.
That's what I mean. So I don't know. If I'm the Phillies, maybe I go great player. He's going to hit a lot of home runs, but we can see now he's not. Our team's not winning the World Series. They're not winning what they're trying to build. So you got to try to do something. Trade Bohm. You got to shake this shit up somehow, dude.
I would not put money down on the Phillies going to the World Series this year.
No, we already know even if they make the playoffs, we already know what this lineup's going to do. It's going to hit a point in the playoffs where they just go cold because they don't have guys that can just come up and go, all right, let me just get on base, boop, I'm on base. Now I can make something happen. Now they have to pitch to Bryce Harper and really try to get him out because there's not a base open. It's 1 out.
Be like the Diamondbacks, like me and Joey said. They were hitting liners, gappers, pop-ups, advancing runners, plain and simple.
Don't get me wrong. You need home run hitters. You need home run hitters in this day and age. But we were just all home run hitters.
That's what was on the back of their mind. Exactly.
Mike Papper Jr. says Schwarber will play his way out of Philly with the season he's having. Are the Phillies willing to give Schwarber $150 million for 5 years? You know what? I don't know. I love Schwarber, but I don't know if I would do that. I mean, because that contract might be all right for the next year or two, maybe. But then the last couple of years, paying him $30 million a year, 4 years from now, I don't know. I don't think that would be too wise.
You have to say,
rolling the dice, baby. That's rolling the dice.
Here's where you do have a team. And now Dombrowski does know what he's doing. He can build a team, obviously. And you've got other people around. You got Charlie in the background who probably gives advice and other people. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to keep Schwarber for a term of 5 years or less, so you've got to get some of these guys in here like a Devers and some of these other guys who just hit singles and doubles to get on base because, like you said, you need to be on base. enough of the solo home runs. They're not going to hit 19 home runs and win 19-18. It's not going to happen. You've got to have guys on. You got to have this small ball. Nobody except for Rojas can bunt on the damn team, which I don't understand why people can't bunt.
I don't get that either.
Try to get Devers.
So they need to get somebody on. They need to get players on base, and that's a big thing. That's my one big problem. Everybody loves the home run. It's the fun thing to watch.
But you want to make it interesting, like Diego said in the years that we went to the playoffs. Talk all day about the Astros series, the Diamondbacks. It was mind-boggling and painful just to watch, knowing that you had that series, if not win. We didn't. And even, I'm sorry, even bring up the Mets. We got showed up. But back to your point, get players that are kind of serviceable, like Diego said, kind of mix it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for Devers. Boom, see you later. We got a problem in, Kepler's serviceable in left field. Rojas, like you said, he's good, but he can't bunt for shit. They
got to bring Crawford up. They got to bring Crawford up soon and see what he can do.
Absolutely, I think the kid has it in his genes from his dad. Enough said. It says it, and his stats, because he got moved up to Lehigh Valley, saved for himself too.
Here's another issue. Phillies paid these guys.
Do you think the Phillies are afraid to bring up Crawford too early at what happened with Scott Kingery?
Maybe.
Remember, he was Mr. Everything.
But it's just like Jesse Biddle. You let him rot in the minors when he was highly touted, and he shit the bed in the majors. I mean, maybe not, but
you got to play.
It would be nice to see, like Diego said, some fresh players, young players. Your Crawford, your Painter, your Abel, or even Raccoon, Otto Kemp. Bring them up.
Did you see
what are you going to do? Break their psyche?
Did you see that we're the only team that hasn't played a minor league player on their team yet?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, because not just that, though, because they pay all these guys so much money.
Exactly.
Like they pay Turner so much money. Harper, Schwarber, Castellanos, like they all got to play. Then the only other guys you got left is what? Stop Bohm, who are probably, even though Bohm's not having a great season, you've seen when he is hitting, he's a pretty decent player. They don't really have much room to do shit.
So true. But like you said, you got the money bags in front of you.
Yeah.
And I think Castellanos is not here next year, so.
Yeah, he's having a good year, unfortunately. I mean, he's learned to lay off that pitch on the outside. Supposedly he really worked on it during the winter and everything, and he does look a lot better. I don't feel like every time he goes up there, oh, Christ, here we go, he's out. He's actually hitting the ball well.
I like the fact that we got Stott at leadoff. I like that. Some fresh lineup,
Turner looks good. Turner's actually, his defense.
Turner's playing
good. He's playing good.
I mean, I saw a comment a few comments back. I was looking for it here, but was saying Turner's contract. But to be honest, Turner's actually he's been red hot lately, so I have no issue with Turner. And Sean, you mentioned Castellanos. Castellanos is signed for one more year, so he'll be here next year, unless because I don't see a team trading for that contract. I mean, Castellanos is more valuable here than he is anywhere else, pretty much.
True. But I got one question.
What's
How
that?
about them Cowboys?
So hang on. I want to get to that. So real quick. So let's do a Phillies. Now they got rained out tonight. Tomorrow they're supposed to be a doubleheader, and then they have 3 with the Pirates. So what's the Phillies record? If they play all the games? What's the Phillies record the rest of this week? You got 5 games. What's their record?
3-2.
I'm right there with Diego. Took the words out of my mouth. 3-2. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to say 3-2 also.
What did they go in the last 6 from the last time we had our show?
We were actually 1-5 because we got swept by the Mets. I know 2-4. I'm sorry, because we beat the Cubs. We beat the Cubs twice.
Yeah.
Because we didn't do the show last week. So 2 weeks ago when we did it.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, the Mets swept us. So Got a comment here. Mike Pappernick Jr. says Phillies 3-2.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, dog.
Hey, what's up, dog?
He was,
See
he
that
was
guy.
speaking, he was
Is he a
speaking in his
puppy?
place. Say hi, buddy. It's Jax Barkley.
He's a
What's his
puppy?
name?
Jax, Jax,
Uh-huh.
and then Barkley, because he jumps all over the place and he has jumped backwards in the air and done flips. So his middle name is Barkley.
How old is he?
Nice.
How old is he?
Say hi. 7 months.
Yeah, he looks like a baby. What kind of dog?
He's a baby. Say hi, buddy.
So you got
Yeah, it's a cute dog.
one. That's pretty solid. Okay. So
Yeah. All right. Well, you were talking about great dog, but Jeff, you were saying how he's kind of been biting you a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that would cause injuries, and when I think of injuries, man, I think of my man Jason Fine, aka Attorney Big Al. So in Jeff's case, I mean, he's all right. I mean, the dog might bite you here and there, but you'll survive. But say you're on the job and you're lifting something and you get yourself a hernia or you get hurt, you might need to get some money. So make sure you call my man Jason Fine. Motor vehicle accident, slip and fall, workers' compensation, or like I said, personal injury claim. He's got 3 offices throughout Pennsylvania, New Jersey, 1 in Philadelphia, 1 in Cherry Hill, and 1 in Pittsburgh. So he'll get you paid, man. So, all right. Anyway, the other big news, the actual. Hang on, I got a comment. Mike Pappernick Jr. says, "Nice pup."
Thank you.
Who doesn't love a puppy,
I know, right?
Exactly.
he's stealing the show.
The only, I hate to say this because he really did turn his life around, but the only person I would say that didn't love a puppy would have been Mike Vick and his crew. But he turned. You know what though? He turned it around, so I give him props. Mike Vick at least, turn his life around. But anyway, speaking of football, the other big thing in news, the schedule comes out tomorrow. But Eagles open up with the Dallas Cowboys September 4th. So we got Dallas on September 4th. We also have we host Chicago Black Friday.
They're finally going to see a banner. You know what I'm saying? In how many years?
I know.
They're going to see one go down. You know what I mean?
And then we play the Packers on Monday night, the first Monday night?
Not the first Monday
Week
night.
10. Week 10.
Week 10.
Yeah,
Okay.
November 10th. It's at Green Bay, and then we play at Washington December 20th. It's a Saturday.
Not just that. We got a Black Friday.
Yeah.
against the Bears.
The Bears.
Yeah.
3
Hey,
o'clock.
Jerry, this is what a banner looks like. Yours, you got to dust it off after 30 years. And for all you Cowboys fans, I got 5 rings. I got this.
Yo,
Go
Paul
watch that
Spencer.
VHS tape.
You get to watch one. It's been a while.
Yeah, but if they really want to relive it, Diego, they just pop in that VHS tape. If anybody out there doesn't know what it is, you just put it in the machine. Relive the 90s. You see your Aikmans. You see your Emmett Smith. And Emmett, we're going to keep saying go Birds, so stick it up your ass. I met you. You're ignorant. He didn't want to get a picture. I didn't want a picture with him because he's a Cowboys fan. I said, can I get your picture? And he looked at me like, who the hell is this? What do you want? You know what, dude? I even hate you more.
Mike Pappernick Jr. says, how is Dak going to handle Jalen Carter and Vic Fangio's defense, which Dak didn't play against because he was hurt?
No.
I will say this. I mean, I know.
Dak plays good against us.
He does. Yeah. He's like 9-4 against the Eagles in his career. But the other thing is, I know he's a head case, and I know we all hate the Cowboys, and it's easy to sit at the top of the mountaintop as world champs and kind of talk some shit, which I love doing, by the way. But to keep it real, I think that Dallas. I'll tell you, if George Pickens has his great, Dallas. I think Dallas is going to surprise some people this year.
That's a tough offense to start with George Pickens.
Yeah,
it's all good. We're going to win. Just I hope they do a perfect on them.
I think the Eagles just have the perfect by taking Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean last year. You match up against any duo in the NFL now.
Oh yeah,
man for man.
What are they waiting for on Justin Simmons? I mean, He's almost telling the Eagles now that he'll pay himself to play on the team.
It's like a soap opera.
They don't-
It's the wait and see.
He's not going to play, right?
Yeah, but what I don't understand though. You got like everybody keeps bringing up Justin Simmons. They drafted a safety in the second round. Like,
yeah, and he's going to start.
I see Justin Simmons being here in a leadership role.
Yeah, but why?
Played for
For what? For what?
Just one of those things.
Kind of the Darius Slay role.
I don't see it. I think it's Blankenship. The kid we drafted, Sidney Brown's going to make. If someone gets hurt, he's going to come in, and that's what it's going to be.
For some reason, I hate to say, because I see him coming here, Simmons, like a CJ Gardner Johnson, and that's it. That's how I see it.
Well, you could listen. You could be right. I mean, I'm not. Yeah. Hey, I mean, there's no law. There's no law that says that I'm right on it. I guess I'm just not understanding it though, because I mean, I'm not the biggest Sidney Brown fan, but they did draft him in the third round, and then they took this kid in the second round. So I'm kind of like,
it makes you wonder about Sidney Brown. You're right.
Yeah, but if you bring Justin Simmons in though, then it's like, what are you wasting? I mean, what are you gonna do? Waste a 1 year of a 4-year contract with the kid they just drafted? I don't think it makes any sense.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it makes sense.
What you're saying?
It made sense if you didn't draft a safety.
Here's the problem I have. I'll say it like straight out. When it comes to the draft, I don't give a shit whether you're drafted first or Mr. Irrelevant. What do you call it?
Irrelevant.
Yeah, that dude. Yeah. It doesn't matter where you're drafted. There are so many people out in this world who didn't get drafted who could probably play better than half the people in the league. So it doesn't matter where you get drafted, what you're paying them. If you have somebody else that is known to be a good player, knows the plays right, Sidney Brown can hit like hell. He's a good player, but he also makes a lot of stupid mistakes. And those stupid mistakes can hurt you in a game.
He plays too fast. He doesn't slow his game
maybe
down. That's
where Simmons comes in. Hey, cool off a little bit. Let's work together on this. Kind of in a sleigh roll. Work this guy down a little bit. Simmons signs a 1 year or whatever, or a 2 year, and then we jettison next year. But you got the young guys, like you said, they start, and then Simmons comes in to spot them because, players think about this. Is anybody not going to get hurt this year? I don't think so.
No, listen, I totally get where you're coming from, I guess, and I don't really think Sidney Brown really can play, but we'll see.
No, I think he stinks.
I guess my only thing where I disagree is the premise of saying how come Simmons isn't here yet. I think I kind of agree with you, but I think the Eagles are going to go to mini camp and the training camp and see if these guys can play. And if they're like, oh shit, nobody can play, then they call Simmons up. And
I agree. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I'm coming with it.
I think that's where most teams are with him.
I know what your answer.
He'd have a team already.
I know what everybody's answer is going to be because I probably have the same answer. But what do you think is going to happen with Rodgers? Besides the words, "Who gives a shit?" What do you think? You think the Steelers are going to? He's going to go to the Steelers. Think he's going to retire?
Let him and his mushroom-minded self go to Pittsburgh. Good.
If he doesn't go and signs there, who do you think? They go with the rookie, or you think they try and find somebody? Or you think they try to trade with the Eagles and get Dorian Thompson or something?
Shit, you got up there. You got Mason Rudolph. I'd rather go with Will Howard. I'm sorry. And then they got some other young guy, whatever, undrafted free agent. But your best bet is probably Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. They should have kept Justin Fields.
Exactly. I said that to Joey, and they screwed up. And, their loss, and the Jets win. I think he's going to do good with the Jets. I might be right. I might be wrong. But I see.
Yeah. Mike Popper Jr. says, I can't wait for the amazing Mike's I don't know. What's that, Mike? That's interesting. I don't know what that is. Did you guys see the preview? The Chiefs the story, the thing they're doing in ESPN.
Oh yeah, about Patrice and Patrice Mahomes.
Oh yeah,
and Jason Kelsey. Yeah, it's going to be like the Last Dance.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I hope they show Jalen Carter.
Why are they gonna do a 6-part documentary with a season you didn't win a Super Bowl in?
No, I was going to say they did it. They probably thought they were going to win the Super Bowl, and then they didn't. You know what I mean? So
I love it. That's even better, Joey. I
know. Great ending. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No.
I hope they show that picture.
Blankenship and Dijon's podcast. Probably the amazing. Okay, gotcha. Okay, that's awesome. I forgot about that. Mike Papper Jr. says the Steelers might wait till Kenny Pickett is cut from the Browns.
That's or even dude, you're going to see so many surprising things. Probably you might see what is it?
Come here,
Deshaun Watson. I'm curious to know what happens with it.
No.
Yeah, well, he's probably going to wind up missing part of the year, right?
True.
Deshaun Watson is just. I don't understand why he's really still in the league. There has to be some kind of loophole buyout, something somewhere, and just say goodbye.
I don't think.
He hasn't turned out to be a player that's going to work. I think everything's gotten to his head. He's not that good of a player anymore. He had a good 1 year look, and that was it.
How about the world football? Vikings and Steelers in Dublin.
Oh yeah,
Viking, Chargers and Chiefs in Spain.
They were talking about that today on 610, and who was it? So it was either Hike Reese or Hugh Douglas saying it's horrible to not be able to sleep in your own bed for a week. They got to be there for 2 weeks. The Vikings. He said they're getting royally screwed having to stay over there. Like, who cares? But still, that's horrible. I mean, imagine the Eagles having to go from playing all Australia to Brazil and then come home.
Oh,
I mean, come on.
And the Vikings are a weird team too. You look at that NFC North, and like first off, that whole division, like Chicago looks like they could take a step. You know, Green Bay's good. Of course, you got Detroit's very good.
Yeah.
And then and then the Vikings are such a wild card because they won 14 games last year. Sam Darnold played well. And now they're going with J.J. McCarthy. And if it's going to be one of those things, if J.J. McCarthy can play, they could be really good. They have a really good team. But now with a rookie, if he can't play, then you know what I mean? Like really, their whole season's going to kind of hinge on him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
What do you think of this comment? Because we were talking about Dallas, and I was saying I think Dallas could surprise some people. I actually agree with Eddie Prather here. But I don't think Dallas had as far to go as the Giants do.
The Giants don't have an offensive line. That's the problem.
What's that?
The Giants do not have an offensive line. That's why Barkley's out of there. They have a hell of a defense. They probably got a top 5 defense.
Right. They
don't have no line. Nothing.
Okay, but I was saying though, compared to what they were last year, I think they've improved. You know what I mean? Like I think they've. Just because of their defense and getting a serviceable quarterback like Russell Wilson. I mean, but the thing about them is they have a really tough schedule.
Yeah. I think Jackson Dorsey started there before the end of the year.
I mean, if they're smart, they would, because if I'm the Giants with that tough schedule they got, I'd want to see if he could play because next year's draft is quarterback rich. So you don't want to go into next year's draft not knowing if you have a quarterback or not.
Right. The only horrible that I was listening to today was that there were so many players that didn't declare for the draft because of the NIL. They did not want to come out in the later rounds that the NIL, they're going to make more money by waiting another year to come out higher in the draft and come out this year. This NIL is going to screw everything up.
Well, that's what college wanted. They want players that are good to come back, and that makes their product better.
Well, look at when Quinn Ewers made $8 million in college. In the pros, 1.8 he's making.
Yeah, that kid should have stayed there.
There you go.
So that's your point.
Yeah.
Your question, but yeah, whatever.
If I were Quinn Ewers, I would have been Van Wilder.
So now it's tough, like you said. Now it's tough to think next year you're going to have a lot of players out, but some of those players might stay back another year too. So you really can't.
True.
Okay, next year's going to be a heavy whatever.
Yeah, but listen, the sooner you get out, the sooner you can get to the real bag. You know what I mean? The sooner you can show you're a star, and the sooner you can really get that big contract.
True.
Yeah.
That should give you something to shoot for to be high in the draft. Correct.
Right.
But the NIL, that's like you said, it's doing havoc both ways if you think about it.
Yeah, we'll look at. Yeah, I mean that's a great point because I mean if you're a first round pick, it makes sense to come out, or if you think you could be a first or second, but then if there's any debate, like you said, Jeff, you ought to stay. Like look at Shador Sanders, the money he's not going to even touch what he was making in Colorado.
45 to like 4.
Dude, he made 4.2 mil in NIL money. I could give two shits.
Yeah,
Kids making bank. Good luck with the Browns.
I think he's going to surprise people now.
Let him.
Well, we'll see what happens because he's competing with the kid from Oregon.
He's competing with Flacco.
Dylan Gabriel.
Wait, what's that?
He's competing with Flacco.
Oh, I know, right?
Sorry, Sean. Didn't mean to interrupt.
It's all good, brother. It's all good.
Eddie Prather says, I can see Arch Manning staying 4 years in college just like his uncles.
Yep.
We'll see. I mean,
I think next year.
I think it depends on where he's picked, where he thinks he's going to be picked.
Is he that good? I really haven't paid attention to him.
Yeah, he's good.
Is he good?
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a couple games I've seen him play. I haven't seen an NFL quarterback. That's just
Is he a pocket, or does he move more than his brothers?
He's way more athletic than them.
Way more mobile.
Is he?
And he can throw the ball. He can throw it.
He's small.
Well, Eli was small too.
Let's see. Mike Papper Jr. says colleges are hiring GMs like Max Crosby, who was assistant GM with Eastern Michigan.
Yeah.
Arch is pretty athletic. Yeah, I did see that. So
he filled in for Ewers one game, and he had a hell of a game.
Yeah, the games that I would see him come in, he was all right.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. But hey, schedule comes. Schedule comes out. The whole schedule comes out tomorrow. So we'll, and everybody will be doing their wins and losses, and we all, and most of us do it, but in reality, that shit changes so many times from now until then.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of times. Well, how many teams in May when the schedule comes out, you think a game's either going to be hard or easy, and then the time comes and it's the exact opposite.
Yep,
100%.
Yeah, always.
Because we never know injuries and shit like that.
Yeah.
Number one thing, man, they'll kill your team.
What'd you say?
I said injuries are number one thing. They'll kill your team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Look at the Sixers, man.
Yep.
I agree.
But anyway, well, let's wrap this up here. One more thing. Maybe next time we talk, we didn't really get much Flyers because the Flyers kind of got screwed in their lottery. They moved down from 4 to 6. So here's hoping they could still get a player. So we'll see what happens there. But anyway, in the coming weeks we'll get a little bit more in the Flyers. We'll do a little more Sixers draft, and we'll do schedule. So
yeah, man.
But all right, guys. Well, look, it's been real. Go Birds. What we have right now is go Phillies, right?
Yeah, go Phillies.
What was it? Emmett Smith is tired of Go Birds.
Yeah,
he's sick of it.
All right, you know what? Then let's just for Emmett Smith, go Phils and go Birds.
We gotta find his email address and just like everybody in Philadelphia, just email him. Just blister him with Go Birds.
Yeah. So, all right, fellas. Well, everybody, thanks for checking us out, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds